Did the refs just hand 2 games away? That's the question Twitter woke up screaming this morning. And honestly, it's hard to blame people. 2 Week 8 contests ended with whistles and flags so controversial that coaches, players, and fans all sounded the same note: furious, bewildered, and a little convinced the league was broken. Let's walk through what happened, why people are livid, and what this keeps exposing about officiating in the NFL right now. Yahoo Thibodeaux from the jump. The headline moment came in Philly, where the Eagles' trademark Tush Push short yardage play became a lightning rod. On a crucial 4th and 1, Giants linebacker Kayvon Thibodeaux ripped the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands and appeared to recover it cleanly, only for the officials to rule that Hurts' forward progress had been stopped before the fumble, wiping the turnover off the board. Giants coach Brian Daboll exploded on the sideline, challenged the call, and lost the challenge. Thibodeaux himself didn't hold back afterward, calling the post-game explanation "some bulls," a quote that captured how raw the team felt in the locker room. Yahoo Thibodeaux. A few hours later in Denver, fans and pundits were pointing to another questionable sequence: an OTT defensive pass interference flag on Broncos corner Riley Moss that suddenly handed the Giants critical field position, and then a personal conduct penalty on Sean Payton when he ran onto the field to argue. The comeback finish was historic. The Broncos scored 33 fourth-quarter points, but the officiating drama left a scar. Observers said the crew handed the Giants and Broncos identical game-altering gifts and contradictions, depending on the moment. Coaches and players called the refs abysmal and demanded answers. SIY the panic, because this isn't an isolated bad call week. It's part of a pattern. Fans pointed to multiple ticky-tack flags and inconsistent no calls all across the Sunday slate and, in some threads, demanded officials be fired, or worse, accused the league of rigging outcomes. That's extreme, and it's unfair to suggest the officiating corps is acting in bad faith. Still, the volume and consistency of questionable rulings have eroded trust. When calls swing pivotal plays repeatedly, people start filling the trust vacuum with conspiracy. And thespun.com. Let's be precise about the rulebook, because that's where a lot of confusion starts. Forward progress is a judgment call. Officials decide the instant a player's momentum is stopped and must blow the whistle to prevent unnecessary contact. If the whistle sounds before the ball comes free, the play is dead by rule. If it hasn't, a fumble stands. That judgment, immediate, subjective, and invisible to the naked eye replay in many cases, is what produced the Giants' meltdown. Fans see Thibodeaux's hand on the ball. Refs saw forward progress, 2 perfectly honest but opposite reads. The problem is that when forward progress whistles are inconsistent, teams get tilted and the perception of fairness collapses. Yahoo Thibodeaux, context matters too. The Tush Push has been a simmering controversy all year. Owners nearly banned it in the spring. The proposal failed by a razor-thin margin, reportedly garnering 22 votes when 24 were required to pass, so it remains legal and polarizing. That means defenders and officials are both operating under an unsettled spotlight whenever that play is called. When an already controversial play collides with a judgment call like forward progress, fireworks are inevitable. ESPN.com. So what does the NFL do about it? Historically, the league responds in 3 ways. 1, public explanation. The refs explain or the league issues a statement. 2, internal review, grading crews and, if warranted, reassignments. And 3, incremental rules clarification, which could include future changes to the Tush Push or forward progress guidance. But none of those solutions fixes the immediate problem. The team that got screwed this Sunday lost in real time. The fans' outrage, while sometimes overheated, is a rational reaction to a system that keeps producing inconsistent results on the biggest stages. Yahoo Thibodeaux, now let me be blunt. Blaming the whistle alone is tempting, but the bigger picture is uncomfortable for everyone. Coaches and players use the TV mic and social media to vent because they can't fix the calls in the moment. The league, meanwhile, demands fairness and consistency, but the human element of officiating, angle, position, split-second reaction, will always create variance. That variance has always been part of football. The problem today is scale. Replay tech, social media, and every angle broadcasts expose and amplify every miss. And when it happens repeatedly, tolerance for human error drops to 0. SI, here's the practical fallout you should expect this week. Coaches will protest, the NFL will release a bland statement promising a review, players will be fined if they publicly attack officials, and the social media mob will howl for retribution. There may be a few crew reassignments, the league will quietly investigate, but the core issues will remain unless the NFL either retrains and standardizes officials to a tighter rubric or uses the rulebook to remove the judgment call entirely from those specific plays. Both options are messy and political. TheSpun.com. And a quick uncomfortable reality check. Fans calling games rigged is a sign of lost faith, not proof. The NFL isn't omnipotent theater directing wins and losses. It's a huge league with human officials and imperfect systems. But belief in a competition's integrity matters more than ever. If the public thinks outcomes are being nudged, intentionally or not, that belief will sandpaper the product's legitimacy faster than any single bad call. The league must choose seriousness over spin. TheSpun.com. One last thing you'll hear a lot this week: calls for camera changes, clearer whistle protocols, or even removing forward progress as a live judgment in certain short yardage moments. Those are fixable ideas, at least in theory. Implementation is the hard part. The league's past reluctance to fundamentally alter officiating norms, unless forced by unanimous owner pressure, means we'll likely get incremental bandages rather than a full surgery. CBS Sports. Bottom line, bad officiating isn't new. But a season that feeds viral outrage, coupled with repeat examples that decisively swing close games, makes this week feel different. Fans aren't just angry, they're scared. The Sports Central promise is fraying, that the best team on the field wins, not the team that catches the right whistle at the right time. If the NFL wants to stop the rigged talk, it has to do three things fast: explain, reform, and restore confidence, and then actually follow through. Otherwise, the next controversial whistle won't just be a story, it'll be a crisis. Yahoo Teitao, short, punchy closer you can use on camera. Bad calls are part of football. Losing belief in the system isn't. If you love the NFL, you should be mad enough to demand better, not because officiating is perfectible, but because fairness is non-negotiable. You ever watch a game and feel like the refs just rewrote reality live on TV? That's exactly what happened Sunday. 2 games, 2 blown whistles, or missing ones, a tidal wave of social media outrage, and the same tired question: are the officials losing the room and the league's trust faster than they can throw a flag? Start with the Giants versus Eagles. It's 4th and 1. The Eagles run the Tush Push. You know the play. Jalen Hurts is shoved forward. Kayvon Thibodeaux rips the ball out, falls on it, and for a split second, it looks like the Giants have a huge turnover. Except the whistle had blown. Refs ruled forward progress, stopped before the fumble, so possession stayed with Philly. The Giants coach Brian Daboll was furious. Kayvon Thibodeaux called the explanation some bulls, and fans erupted. The clip didn't help. To most eyes, it looked like the defense clearly recovered the ball, only for the play to be wiped away by a judgment call. Fox News, that same Sunday, fans turned an accusatory finger toward the Ravens-Bears game, posting clips, conspiratorial threads, and hot takes that screamed rigged. Whether it was a phantom penalty, a missed holding call, or simply a string of inconsistent whistles, social feeds filled up with the same refrain. The officials had handed 2 teams outcomes they didn't earn. The pileup of anger was loud enough that national outlets began covering it as a broader officiating crisis, not just 2 isolated screw-ups. Yahoo Teitao. Why does this feel different from the usual weekend refereeing gripes? 2 reasons. 1, the Tush Push is already a flashpoint this season. Owners even voted on banning it in the offseason, and the league has tried to tighten the guidance around it. Every time it's involved in a controversial spot, the scrutiny spikes. 2, forward progress rulings are basically black boxes. If the on-field crew says forward progress stop, that decision is generally non-reviewable, which means viewers can see replay angles that suggest otherwise, but the rulebook gives officials very wide discretion. That combination, a judgment call that can't be undone and a hugely consequential play, is combustible. Sportskeeda. Let me be crystal. Officials aren't omniscient. Football is played at 20 to 30 miles an hour, angles are messy, and sometimes a whistle should come sooner to protect players. But the problem isn't occasional human error. It's the pattern. a cluster of calls and non-calls that look inconsistent game to game, crew to crew. When one team benefits from a phantom flag and another team weeks earlier was stomped by a different crew's creativity, it creates a perception problem. Credibility drains away fast. And once credibility's gone, every borderline call looks like intentional favoritism. Sportskeeda, so what can the league realistically do? There are a few options people keep floating, and I'll be blunt about what matters and what's theater. 1. More replay power? The NFL has already expanded replay assist, letting replay officials advise on objective things. But forward progress is a judgment call. Giving it to TV review would solve some blowups and create new ones. You'd trade one kind of controversy for another where suddenly every pile and whistle triggers a 7-minute TV stoppage. The rulebook lets replay teams advise on specific objective items, but they still can't invent a forward progress reversal from thin air. Operations.nfl.com. 2. Better training and consistency. This is the low-cost, high-impact fix that actually matters. If officiating crews across the league are coached to the same standard, those "why did they call that" moments shrink. Problem: consistent training takes months, and the NFL's officiating pipeline is creaky. Retirements, travel, different crew dynamics. Fans want quick fixes. This one is slow and boring, but it works when it's enforced. 2. Transparency and accountability. The league could publicly explain tough rulings faster and clearer. A short TV explanation, a quick replay note from the officiating office, even a published rationale the next day would diffuse a lot of the conspiracy smoke. Right now, the silence after a controversial ruling lets the rumor mill run wild. The NFL can't justify every call, but it can stop hiding behind silence. Yahoo Thetao for rule changes. If a play causes repeated grief, like the Tush Push, owners could vote to ban or reframe it. That's messy. Teams design offenses around rules, but it's on the table. Owners have already debated it. If a rule repeatedly leads to game-deciding ambiguity, changing the rule is a legitimate solution, even if it feels drastic. Sportskeeda. Now let's cut through the noise. Fans yelling "rigged" rarely helps. The referees make calls, sometimes wrong ones, because they're human and the game is fast. But sports leagues live on trust. When the perception becomes that inconsistency is the rule rather than the exception, and when non-reviewable judgments wipe away clear, replay-visible turnovers, people stop trusting outcomes. When trust falters, ratings wobble, advertisers squint, and the league's product devalues. That's not drama. That's economics. So what's the bottom line? And I know you didn't ask for a bottom line header, but bear with me. Officiating isn't just about getting every call right. It's about building and maintaining confidence. The NFL can fix a lot of this. Clearer explanations, smarter use of replay assist, standardized training, and yes, tough conversations about plays like the Tush Push. Do that, and the outrage fades. Ignore it, and every Sunday will feel like a referendum on whether anyone's keeping score fairly anymore. The fans aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for fairness and clarity. The league owes them that. If you watched Sunday and felt cheated, you're not alone, and you shouldn't be the only one pushing for answers.